Hi, my name's Zack from Melton Angling. I've been asked to do a video on my recent capture of a £60 2-ounce mirror carp from Premium Carp Fishing's Holme Fen Meadows Lake. This was over the Easter bank holiday weekend. Myself and 3 customers arrived on Monday morning. You get about an hour to walk around the lake to look for signs of fish and preferred pegs before a draw's done at 11 o'clock. I drew quite well. I drew number 2, and after the initial choice I decided, with the weather conditions and the lack of fish showing, that I'd go for the beach double. This peg had the wind on its back, and I knew that it had done odd fish, admittedly, in recent weeks, and therefore was a good bet to get off the mark. I had also done some research, talking to a local group that had been fishing the lake the previous year. I think they'd done 2 or 3 trips, and also information on the peg about sort of likely areas to fish. And with this in mind, I sort of led it about and found an area that was a bit patchy. I'd get a couple of nice clean drops with a marker lead, and then I'd get a soft drop, and when pulling the marker back in, I'd find that I'd have like 2 or 3 inches maybe of weeds. It felt like a good area though, and I understand that fish had come from that sort of area of the lake. So I decided to fish a PVA bag where, despite the short weeds, whether I managed to get on the hard spot or on the weeds, it would simply give me a nice clean presentation. We'd been suffering for some real bad conditions while we were there. Storm Kate had been blowing in over the weekend and was still present. Winds up to 70 miles an hour. A pair of anglers that set up at the same time had their bivvy blown in the water. Another 2 broke theirs while they were there during the first day as well. Dropped the bag out on the spot. I had another spot with 2 rods on it as well. I felt like, with the size of the fish in the lake, it was worth putting a little bit of bait out, not too much, just fishing for a bite at a time really. You go into a day ticket water where you can't sort of keep coming every week and building up too much information in a hurry. You sort of want to, as I say, fish for a bite at a time. So until the fish are really active, you want to fish sort of small amounts of bait. I went for 12 mini spoms of sweet corn, Holme Fen fishery pellet, which the fish have been fed over the years, mixed with some Nash pre-cooked hemp and some sticky baits, krill 12mm boilies that I'd actually dried out and then soaked in the hemp and a concoction with their cloudy krill liquid. That just gave me a little bit of food out there. I actually load my PVA bags up as well with just like about a teaspoon of hemp oil, just injected when they're ready to go out. I always carry a little pot of it with me to do that in case I decide I need to sort of go after sort of showing fish. The rig that I use, pretty simple. I do like to use sort of little northern specials. It's normally a pop-up, but with the wind being like it was and the amount of water movement going on, I decided to use a wafter that sits very low to the deck, tied KD style to a cord crank size 6 hook and cord dark matter 20-pound braid. I tend to put a blob of putty in the middle. This in particular is Nash Klingon. It does hold on very well. The system I used for these bags is the Avid bag stems. The reason why I use this is because at Holme Fen there is a metre long tubing rule, and just quite simply what I wanted to be able to do is to have a drop-off system to get the fish up in the water. With the moment the fish picks the lead up, the lead drops down against the tail rubber, but if there's any weight against it, it just simply lets the lead come off down onto the line and away. But when you're fishing with tubing, where the intention is to protect the fish from the line, you need to stop it disappearing off down the line. So I just use a small Nash clinger, about 5 or 6 inches, which is enough to let the tail rubber come off and come down, but still protect the fish. I'm using Nash diffusion camo tubing. It's nice and soft, easy to thread, and sinks well. Fishing over 100 yards down at Holme Fen as well on this occasion just meant that the tubing still casts nicely because it's not too heavy on the cast. The bite came at about 10:30 on the next morning. Just pulled up tight, and I was sitting very close by watching the water, so I just picked up into the rod really quickly. The fish did bolt though. It took the line straight away off the clutch. Took me about 20 minutes to play it back, but there are some plateaus and bars in the lake, and in particular in front of this swim there's a bar about 30, maybe 40 yards out in front of you. You can see it from the bank, and the fish sort of wedged itself in behind this quite nicely. But luckily I was borrowing some 13-foot Century FMA rods from a good customer for the venue, and I just simply backed up holding the rod high. There's a high bank behind you on the beach, and that just seemed to help ease the fish over. As soon as it came over, it started to come into closer range, and I got to see it for the first time. I could see it was a big fish. There are a lot of big fish in the lake. There's something like 30 to 40 fish over 40 pounds, with 3 or 4 fish over 50. So it was always a good chance of being a good fish. Quite simply then called for help from a friend in the next peg who passed me the net, and on the first time the fish came up I managed to net it. Got quite excited when as it rolled into the net its tail came over and I seen these white marks across it. I remember watching the Shimano DVD just last year with Ian McMillan catching Captain Jack, and seeing those white marks. I didn't know if there was any other fish in the lake that had them, but I just felt excited, and was starting to lose my voice and my throat going. So got a couple of lads together, and we hoisted the fish up on my 60-pound rodents, only for it to bottom it out. And I immediately got on the phone to Martin Dawson, who runs Holme Fen down there, and he said he'd be on his way shortly. He turned up and brought some 120-pound scales, and we all got together and weighed the fish on those. They definitely identified it as Captain Jack, and when we settled on a weight finally of 60 pound 2 ounces, I just couldn't believe it. I had to pinch myself. I was over the moon. What to expect? First day, within 24 hours arriving, first bite, first fish, 60 pounds. It's an amazing venue down there. It's day ticket water. Pretty much anyone can book. Minimum 48 hours. That's all we were doing. Chance of a fish of a lifetime, certainly for me it is. I don't think I'll ever get a chance other than going back to Holme Fen to catch a 60 pounder in this country whilst there's plenty of them in France. There's just a handful here, and a lot of them are inaccessible for average anglers. I don't get a lot of time on the bank. I get out once or twice a month. So to have a fish like this is a real achievement for me. I was fishing well on the day, and what can I say? Get yourself down there, have a go. If you want any advice from myself on what I was up to and where I was fishing, just feel free to contact us at the shop. We're at Melton Angling, or you can get us on Facebook. Thanks to the guys down at PCF and the opportunity, and the friends that come along to the fishery on the trip, and £60. Good luck, guys.